Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm super pumped to have you here for this explainer on the massive new Minecraft 26.2 update, officially titled Chaos Cubed. If you've been following the snapshots at all, you already know this drop completely reshapes the sandbox. We're talking wild new physics, a brand new underground ecosystem, and some seriously game-changing automation potential. So we're going to break down all these new mechanics in a highly structured, visual way right from the source material, giving you exactly what you need to jump into your worlds and immediately take advantage of these new features. So I gotta ask, are you actually ready to master Minecraft's Chaos Cubed? Because let me tell you, the devs were absolutely not kidding when they came up with that name. We're looking at environments that literally fight back. I'm talking nausea-inducing gases and erupting geysers, alongside this fascinating new mob that turns into a completely customizable physics object. If you want to survive and, more importantly, thrive in these crazy new conditions, you need a solid game plan. And that is exactly what we're going to build together today. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our survival checklist. Number 1, exploring the sulfur caves. 2, harvesting potent sulfur safely. 3, the Sulfur Cube Mob. 4, mastering cube archetypes. And 5, dispenser automation tech. Starting off with Section 1. Exploring the sulfur caves, deep underground hazards. So this is the new underground environment where your Chaos Cubed adventure really kicks off, and it brings a whole new level of environmental storytelling to your spelunking trips. These caves generate primarily super deep underground, though actually you can sometimes stumble upon them generating inside large hills or mountains too. You'll instantly recognize this biome by the really distinct, colorful bands of the new sulfur and cinnabar stone blocks woven into the terrain. Both of those, by the way, can be crafted into absolutely beautiful, polished, brick, and chiseled variants for your builds. But hey, don't let the shiny new building blocks distract you too much. Alongside the new mobs we're about to discuss, this biome natively spawns cave spiders. So right from the jump, you need to treat these caves with the exact same caution you would an abandoned mineshaft. Moving right along to Section 2, harvesting potent sulfur safely, danger versus reward. Getting into the specific environmental hazard you're going to find down there, you'll encounter these crazy sulfur pools. This is basically your classic Minecraft scenario of danger versus reward. Inside these pools lies a brand new block called potent sulfur. By definition, potent sulfur is a naturally generating block found underwater that produces rising bubbles, actually pushing up to 4 water source blocks high. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. When placed underneath water, it creates a highly toxic, nausea-causing gas cloud right on the water's surface. It's an amazing environmental detail for sure, but it poses a very real threat to your survival runs if you just go jumping in blindly without a breathing strategy. So here is your quick 3-step field guide to harvesting it safely. Step 1. You absolutely must avoid that gas cloud. This noxious gas spreads across adjacent water with a maximum radius of 3 blocks from the source. Just keep your distance. Step 2. Watch out for sulfur spring geysers. These things erupt dynamically, and yes, they will absolutely push you if you're caught in the blast. Literally, even if you're flying in creative mode. And let's be honest, getting launched into the ceiling by a rogue geyser is totally going to be the new classic way to end a hardcore run. They even emit skulk sensor vibrations when they go off, which is a neat touch. Step 3. Once you've safely harvested the potent sulfur block, you can bring it back to your base and craft just one of them down into 4 standard sulfur blocks. It's incredibly efficient if you know what you're doing. All right, Section 3, the Sulfur Cube Mob, a transformative encounter. Let me introduce you to the most fascinating new inhabitant of these caves. This isn't just another enemy to fight. It's a completely transformative encounter that basically bridges the gap between a living creature and a physics engine. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer duality of the Sulfur Cube. In its active mob AI state, it acts like a normal mob. It actively seeks out block items dropped on the ground to absorb, it takes normal damage, and it'll actually follow you around if you're holding a block it can eat. Conversely, the exact moment you interact with it and feed it a block, it absorbs that item, completely disables its own AI, and becomes a dormant physical object. In this dormant state, it takes 0 fall damage, 0 player damage, and you can literally punch and push it around your world like a giant interactive physics toy. So, you might be wondering, how does this build into an actual farming mechanic? Well, if you kill an active, large sulfur cube, it behaves a little bit like a slime. It splits into 2 smaller sulfur cubes. But here is the really cool trick. You can tempt and feed those small cubes with slime balls to grow them right back into large ones. And once they're large, you can literally scoop up the entire mob using a plain old empty bucket. This makes transporting these guys from the deep,
dangerous sulfur caves all the way back up to your surface base surprisingly easy.
Which perfectly tees up Section 4, Mastering Cube Archetypes, Physics-Altering Mechanics. Trust me, you're going to want a lot of these cubes at your base, because once a sulfur cube absorbs a block and goes dormant, its physical properties completely change to match whatever it just ate. And this brilliantly illustrates just how deep the mechanic really goes. If you feed the cube wood, it takes on the Bouncy archetype, so it's fast, highly bouncy, and floats in liquids. Feed it a honeycomb block, and it becomes sticky, acting like a heavy ball that grips the ground with extreme friction and absolutely zero bounce. Feed it a magma block, it becomes hot and actually damages entities on contact. Wool makes it light and floaty with high air drag, while ice turns it into a fast sliding object with zero bounce. The potential for custom mini-games and weird item transport systems here is just staggering.
And for all you technical players out there mapping out the physics, there are several more archetypes to master. Regular stone and minerals give you a basic, regular baseline. Metal blocks give you a slow, flat, heavy feel, while organic blocks provide a fast, flat response. Dropping soul sand or soil creates high resistance with incredibly slow speeds, and specific stone variants create a slow, bouncy archetype. Whether you're building precision timing mechanisms or some crazy automated mob grinders, there is a specific block you can feed this cube to get the exact physics you need.
And that leads us to Section 5, Dispenser Automation Tech, Industrializing the Chaos. Okay, so how do we automate the whole shebang? The developers know the community absolutely loves Redstone, and they've given us the tools to completely industrialize these sulfur cubes. Just look at how flawlessly this integrates into existing setups. You can use standard dispensers to manipulate the cubes in 3 simple steps. First, equip. A dispenser can shoot a block directly into a sulfur cube, instantly disabling its AI and turning it into a physics object. Second, swap. You can fire a completely different block from a dispenser to swap out the absorbed item, dynamically changing the cube's physics archetype right on the fly. And third, shear. You can put shears in a dispenser, fire it at the cube to remove the block entirely, and instantly re-enable the mob's AI. Oh, and by the way, dispensers can also spawn a sulfur cube directly from a bucket. It's wild.
Now, why does all this matter for the community? Well, according to recent search analytics data analyzing the Minecraft meta ecosystem, this specific level of industrialization in the game has driven a massive 22 to 31% year-over-year increase in searches for hardcore and adventure content. Think about that for a second. Players are just hungry for this complex, emergent chaos. They want to build Factorio-style malls, massive complex item channels, and invent entirely new ways to play the game using these physics mechanics.
So the crucial point is this: the sandbox just got a whole lot deeper. You now have a mob that can act as a bouncy elevator, a sticky floor lock, or a sliding transport vehicle, all fully controlled by dispensers and redstone. How are you going to use these new physics to break the game's boundaries? The sulfur caves are waiting for you, so grab your slime balls, pack some empty buckets, and get to experimenting. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. I really hope this field guide gives you a massive head start on mastering Chaos Cubed. Catch you next time.